This conference will now be recorded.
Yes, Srinivas. Actually, hello.
Yeah, hi.
Actually, yesterday you have mentioned whatever, I mean, if we create any dev environment the account, it will be created under Asia Pacific region, right? So whatever the accounts we create, it will in India. If we create any account, it will come under the Asia Pacific server. So what about the security level in that?
Yeah, so
How
for
much
any server,
security it will be?
yeah, the server location might be anywhere, right? For all the servers, the same kind of security they provide, right? Whatever the software internally they use, it's same for all the servers. Irrespective of the location, you'll see same kind of security. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, the reason why they maintain the regions. So let's say one of the Indian client, they are using Salesforce. They registered the company headquarters in India. So mostly the employees from India, they try to use that account. So if the server is in the nearest location, the accessibility is faster, right? So even though the company headquarters is in India, if they allocate the server in North America, there is some delay, maybe 2 minutes to provide like this. Okay. Otherwise, in general, same kind of security, respect of the location. Okay. Yeah. Any other questions?
Yes. Okay, Srin.
Srinivas, one thing before we start, just wanted to understand is what exactly the role of admin is, because I tried logged in on Salesforce and then created some contacts and clients, but was not very sure like that is exactly the role the admin has to do it, or it's just a user interface kind of thing I was doing.
Yeah, I'll explain. So give me maybe 15 to 20 minutes. We'll come to that point, right? So what exactly the administrator meaning? There are different meanings.
Mhm.
So one is that in which context, uh, if they refer as admin, it is production admin, or when exactly they call as administrator. When we say developer, when we say consultant, all those things I'll explain. So today we are going to discuss about all those things. Okay.
Yeah, got it. Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions before starting?
Uh, Srinivas, Adarsh here.
Yeah. Hi.
Srinivas, yesterday I tried to sign in that developer.software.com, but I didn't
Developer.
get that verification email. Yeah, verification email link to my inbox.
Sorry. Yesterday you registered with the developer.salesforce.com.
Yeah, today.
Today. Okay.
Mm.
So
Still, I haven't got that email link to my inbox.
okay. So you waited for at least 10 minutes.
More than. Till now, I haven't got that email link, verify link.
So are you sure you gave the proper email address when registering?
Okay.
There is no
Let me cross check once again. Then.
Yeah. If there is a typo, sometimes, right, you don't get anything. So maybe try one more time and make sure to
Okay.
give the proper email address.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, Srinivas. Let me
Yeah.
try once again. Yeah.
Okay. Today, let's focus on understanding about uh, what exactly we do after getting the job on Salesforce platform. What are the different job opportunities and where we are going to work. So for that, before coming to that point, so in the last session, we discussed that one of the client HP, that company they want CRM, to manage their day-to-day customer relationship management process. They identified Salesforce and they tried the free version and they want to go with the Salesforce. So this team, they registered and this user created many other users. So all the employees of the HP company, they log into the HP production. Whenever we register, whatever we get is the production. Production is the live environment where all the applications and the day-to-day the application they use from the production. All the users, they log into production and use the applications. So yesterday we registered for the free account because we are not going to pay. So we registered for developer.salesforce.com by going to that website. We registered for one of the free account. There are some limitations. So for us to start with Salesforce, it is fine even though we have these limitations. It is sufficient for us to practice and to understand how the look and feel and all those things. So we registered. Whenever we register for developer edition account, whatever we get, that also we call as production. For production, to log into production, the URL is login.salesforce.com. This is the URL. So on day-to-day, to log into production, we need to open this website and provide the username and the password and login. So this is the username and this is the password and login. We logged in. Once we log in, so whatever the look and feel we see, in general, when we registered for the first time, so whatever the look and feel we see, that we call as Lightning experience. From 2015, Salesforce, they introduced a Lightning experience, the modern look and feel. But before 2015, for many years, the look and feel of the Salesforce was like this. This old look and feel, so now we are calling it as Salesforce Classic. So this is Salesforce Classic. Salesforce Classic looks like this. Still, Salesforce is supporting both Classic and as well as the Lightning experience. But mostly all the new clients, even existing clients, they are migrating to Lightning experience. But still, when you join in some projects, sometimes we need to switch to Classic and we need to develop the features for the client. Yeah, so mostly we work with the Lightning experience. Sometimes based on the need, I'll switch to this Classic. Now whatever you are seeing is Salesforce Classic. I will switch to this Classic experience and explain some of the options. Okay, now again to go back to the Lightning experience, you can click on switch to Lightning experience. Throughout this administration, mostly with the Lightning experience look and feel, I explain all the topics. Okay, so this is the Lightning experience look and feel. So what is the difference? The difference is the rich UI. The web page, the way we see is modern when compared to the Classic, and also more responsive when compared to Classic. When you switch to Lightning, the Lightning UI will be responsive based on the device whatever we open. Let's say if you open this website in the tab, if you open this in the mobile, automatically it will adjust and show in a proper look and feel. So that's one of the main advantage with the Lightning experience. And also the internal framework to show the information is different when compared to the Classic. It mainly runs at client side, means within the browser. So even though the internet is not available for some time, still we can access these screens. So it's like that. So now once we log in, if you want to see the standard applications provided by Salesforce, so left side, you are seeing these dots. This we call as App Launcher. We need to click on App Launcher, and here click on View All, and here you will see all these applications. So marketing and sales, and also service, and all these applications you can see. So Let me start with the marketing application. I think yesterday already we opened this application. If you remember, we discussed about the CRM process, customer relationship management. So any product or service when they launch in the market, first they start with the campaign. Campaign means advertisements. So different types of advertisements. So here this marketing is the application. For this application, these are the collection of tabs. Tab means tab will be internally linked to an object. So object means table. But on day to day, we know about table. Here technically table we call as object. So whenever you click on this tab, it will connect you to the campaign's object. That object means table, and it will get the information, and here you are seeing that information. And also here, whatever you see, these things we call as list views. I'm choosing this list view, and here you are seeing a table. So all these are this is a table, and here campaign name. Technically in Salesforce, we call this one as field, right? But in general, on day to day, if you say column, we know about that, right? So here we say this as field, campaign names, start date, end date. So each and everything is a record, right? There are 4 records, and you can also open one of the record. So you can open, and if you see, so this one we call as lightning record page. In the lightning record page, on top, whatever you see, this one we call as highlights panel. Technically, we call this one as highlights panel. So what is the key information related to this campaign? That information it will show here. And also details means in detail information about this campaign. So what is the campaign name? Is the campaign is active? Type of the campaign. So start date, expected revenue, the budget, right? All those things they configure here. Okay. So this is one of the campaign, and the relatedness, the child records information. Going forward in detail, we understand about relationships and all those things. So this is one of the record. So now, so I want to show you how we can create a new record in the table. Right? We are not going to write any command without typing any command from UI. With point and click, we can create the record and store the information into the table. All we need to do is click on this tab. On top, you are seeing new button. So click on new, and we can create a new campaign. We are creating a new record, right? Record means we are introducing a new row in the table. So here star means required. We have to populate the required fields. If you don't populate the required fields, it won't allow to save. So here I'm giving name as, let's say, email marketing. So that's the campaign name, and I want to activate later. For now, just I'm giving that. So all these things I'm going with the default. We can also update later, right? At least to save, we have to populate the required fields. I'm populating the required field, and click on save. So that means we inserted one of the record into database. We created one of the record in the campaigns table, right, in the database. So that's the meaning, and you are seeing this information. So now I want to update, right? We created, now we can also update. You can click on this. So all these are the buttons. Technically, we call these as quick actions. So I'm clicking on one of the quick action, edit. From here, we can edit. So let's say I want to populate this start date, and also maybe status. So I'll say in progress, and I'll make it as active. Click on save. So that means we are updating, we are modifying this record. We have modified. So we are able to modify. And also, if you want, we can also delete. Let's say due to some reason they don't want this, they want to delete. You can also delete. On top, you see one of the action called delete. You can click on delete and you can delete the record. So when you delete, the deleted record will be in the recycle bin. To see the record which is in recycle bin, you need to click on this app launcher and you can search for recycle bin. Click on recycle bin and you are seeing the information, and you can check this checkbox and you can restore. Checking the checkbox, and if you want again you can restore. So but here one of the point is the deleted records will be available in the recycle bin only for 15 days. That is one of the limitation. In Salesforce, it's not that everything is unlimited. Okay, so we are working in multi-tenant environment. That means I think in last session I told you we got the space in one of the server, right? So I think AP24 or some server. In the same server, there are many other clients, and we are also one of the client, right? Let's say client 1, client 2. There are many clients out there. We are also having the space as one of the client. We have space in the server. Same server, multiple companies they are sharing. Okay, so since they are sharing, due to one of the client, if something, if they keep some burden on the server with some bad approaches, the other clients in the same server, they will also suffer. To avoid all those things, Salesforce, they enforce some limits, the upper limits. Those limits we call as governor limits. Technically, for each and every feature, whatever we use, we see some limits. Those limits we call as governor limits. So one of the limit is once we delete the record, the deleted records will be there in the recycle bin only for 15 days. After 15 days, based on the deleted date, if the deleted date is more than 15 days, Salesforce will permanently delete this record. So that's what they'll do. So this is one of the limitation. In the same way, going forward, we'll discuss what are the other limitations we have. So all those things. So for now, I'm restoring. And again, you can open that record and you can see. So like this, we do some of the operations on the data. So on day-to-day, whoever use this application, the HP employees, right? The employees who is working for HP, who is using these applications, those users we call as end users, right? All these users are the end users. They are the users on day-to-day. They use those applications, create the records, update the records, delete the records, and see the information. So all those things they'll do on day-to-day. That's the end users scope. But what we do, this course is not mainly for end users. Maybe this will also work for end users, but this course is beyond that. So we are going to help them. So the end users say that they want some new feature, the current application, whatever they are accessing. For that, they want to have some additional features. If they have those features, they'll say their work is easy. So those kind of requirements, the HP company side, they'll collect. So in general, technically, they say user stories. So whatever the users, end users, they use the application on day-to-day, they ask those users, so is there any, so how they can improve this application? They give some suggestions and they give some, they ask for some features, right? Those they take as user stories. So let's say they identified some of the requirements on day-to-day after using these applications for a few months. They identified, let's say, 100 requirements. They have total 100 requirements on top of the existing applications, whatever they have. And we need to help. Maybe the HP company, they are not having any technical employees who can work on Salesforce. So let's say even though they have, those employees cannot achieve all these requirements. They need the help from some other company. Okay, so those kind of things will happen. Okay, now let's say this HP company, to achieve these 100 requirements, their technical team, they don't have bandwidth, or so let's say they don't have the employees who can work on these 100 requirements, who knows Salesforce better. So what they'll do, there are some other companies, they invite some other companies for bidding. Okay, let's say there are some service-based companies in the market. So let's say Wipro is one of the company, one of the service-based company. They won the bidding for these 100 requirements. So they submitted their quotation, how much time they need, how much they are going to charge, and all those things. So let's say this company won the bidding. In general, we get job in one of these kind of companies, in one of the service-based company like Wipro, Accenture. In some of the companies, we get the job. We are going to work in this company. So this company, they are helping. For this company, HP company is the customer, client. So this company needs to help on achieving these 100 requirements. Now from Wipro side, what they'll do, they allocate a team. So let's say one of the manager, so let's say one of the team lead, and let's say they're getting 5 team members. So let's say out of these 5 team members, 3 team members are like admin, they know admin or development both. So maybe one of the employee is for QA, for testing purpose. QA means quality assurance, for testing purpose. So this team they are allocating to work on these 100 requirements provided by the HP company. Once we get the job, we'll be part of one of this team. So let's say we are part of one of the team. So now how they start working for these 100 requirements? First they analyze, and they'll start working on these requirements. So nowadays, maybe some of you might be new for IT. So nowadays in projects, right, it's not that all 100 requirements they work and deliver at a time. Okay, nowadays in most of the companies they follow agile process. Okay, so agile process, it is not only for Salesforce, any technology, it is like a project methodology, how they do the project on day to day. So let's say this company is following the agile process. As part of the process, what they'll do, they are not going to work for all 100 requirements. So as part of this process, they divide these requirements into multiple releases. They are not going to release at a time. Maybe release 1, release 2. So like that, they take only few requirements and release. And also they take few requirements and release. In such a way, they do. So let's say that we technically call as sprint 1, right? Let's say sprint 1, sprint 2, you see like this. Okay, so maybe sprint 1, the duration might be, let's say each sprint duration 2 weeks, and they have team lead and 4 team members, total 5 resources, right? 5 resources, they are working on release for the project for 2 weeks. So let's say 1 week is for development and 1 week is for QA. So like this they maintain. So let's say in the first sprint, out of these 100 requirements they identified, so they have 5 resources bandwidth. So 4 developers or administrators are there. They'll take those, let's say 5 requirements. These 4 team members, So there are 4 resources for admin or development skills. So let's say they took 4 requirements. Okay. In first week, they work for all these 4 requirements, and finally they will assign to QA, and the QA they need to do the testing. So first of all, where exactly they need to work? So directly working in production is not good, because production is the live environment. The end users, they use the application, they create, they delete, maybe they modify all the live data they store in the production. Not only Salesforce, any technology, directly doing the development in the production is not recommended, which is not good. Okay, so what they'll do, since we should not directly work in the production, so let's say they provided HP company, they provided access to one of the team lead. So this person knows we should not directly work in the production. From production, we can create the sandboxes. Sandboxes means the test environments for testing purpose, maybe for developing and testing. First, we do development and testing in the sandboxes. After doing unit testing and testing, finally those changes will be deployed to production. We have to do a lot of testing before deploying to production. So since directly we should not work in production, they are going to create the sandboxes from the production. So how they can create the sandboxes, I'll show you now. But if you see in the developer edition, whatever we have registered by going to developer.salesforce.com, when you register, one of the limitation is we cannot create the sandbox. So for you, maybe you don't see any scope to see the sandboxes. So what I'll do, I have a sandbox. I have a real production, and so in the production, so we can also see the option to create the sandboxes. I'm going to show that so that you will understand in the project how we do. Okay, so let me log into one of the production, so which is a paid version. From there, we can create the sandboxes and work in the sandbox. Okay, so to log into production, login.salesforce.com. For a few seconds, I'll pass my screen. Just I'm trying to log into the production. If you see, this is one of the production for one of the company. Okay. So when you log into the production, so left side, since they should not directly work in the production, we search for sandboxes. So let's say if you are not seeing this option, you need to click on setup.
Shruti, one thing. What
Yeah.
do you exactly mean by the production? Is it the page which is created after we give the company details, or it's a project page or something?
The production means from where the application runs. The
I'm
live,
sorry, can you just? Mhm.
the live application from where they access, right? But that place we call as production.
Okay.
But when we register, we got
And
space in
I've got one more doubt. Like you
yeah,
told that we cannot access the sandboxes, right?
sandboxes in the developer edition account.
Okay, okay, good.
I told that in the developer edition account, this is the developer edition account.
Okay,
In the developer edition account, when you try to search for sandboxes, you don't find, because for free account they are not providing option to create the sandboxes. Okay, since it is a free account, since they are not providing, if you see, you are not seeing any sandboxes. So what we need to do, directly we do development and using everything in the same account, because that is a free account. But
Okay.
really, when you work for a client, one of the customer, when they have the real data to use by their employees, the development should not happen directly in the production. Right? While doing the development, we do a lot of trial and error. There might be some exceptions will be produced and all those things. I think keep it by default on mute while I'm
Uh,
talking.
Pardon, like I couldn't hear you like in a good
Yeah,
way.
yeah. Someone is not in mute. Yeah, sorry. So after asking question, please stay on mute to avoid the disturbance. Okay. Yeah. Once I complete explaining, maybe you can unmute and ask your questions. So what I am trying to say, I think still someone is not in mute. So here, uh, in the developer edition account, we don't have any chance to create the sandboxes. Since it is a free account, the development, testing, and everything we do in the same account because it is a free edition. But when you sign up for one of the paid version, right, it can be enterprise edition or unlimited edition or anything which is paid directly in the production, we should not do the development because while doing the development, we do a lot of research and trial and error to achieve the requirement. There might be some exception system will produce while doing the development. Due to those, the real users should not suffer, right? And also the lot of test data we create, it will be also added to the production, right? So which is not good. So that is the reason always it is recommended to, it's not a recommendation, it's for sure we should work in the sandbox. Okay. Sandbox you can only find in the paid versions. So this account, whatever I logged in, it is a paid version, and I'm searching for sandboxes, and you are finding. Maybe in the developer edition account, whatever start, if you see this is the developer edition account, you are not finding that option. That's what I am saying. So since you cannot find this option, I am showing. So since I have the production, I am showing how the sandboxes, how we navigate and how they create. So I clicked on the sandboxes, and if you see, already some of the sandboxes are created. So dev, QA, training, UAT, and if you want to create a new sandbox, you can also create the new sandbox. So in general, the process is when you work for one of the client, since directly we don't work in the production, so as a process, uh, they create different types of sandboxes. So let's say it is, you can also say this is a development life cycle, how we start the project and work. So first, when you work for the project, first they create the multiple sandboxes. One of the sandbox dev for the development purpose, and after developing in the dev sandbox. So when I say when they create the dev sandbox, what will happen in the production, right? In the production, whatever the applications are there, whatever the information is there, all that information will be copied into one of the other server, right? So if you see, yesterday we saw the trust.salesforce.com. Sandboxes will be available in CS servers, right? Customer sandbox. In one of the other server location, all the production applications and if needed, the data and everything will be copied, and it will create a separate environment where the applications and data is there. So first we work in that. We work in that environment as a developer or administrator, and after developing, after doing the unit testing, we need to do the testing ourselves. After doing the development at high level, if you feel that it is working, then they also maintain QA sandbox. QA means quality assurance. The testing team, they do the testing. They allocate they'll assign to the QA sandbox. Sorry, they'll deploy to the QA sandbox. In QA sandbox, testing team, they do the testing. And finally, they deploy to UAT. UAT means user acceptance testing. So maybe HP side, right? HP company, some of the employees, they want to log in and test the requirements, whatever we develop. This Wipro company, whatever they develop. So this dev and QA will be done by same Wipro company team. The developers in this company, they'll develop and deploy to QA. The QA team member related to that company, they do the testing. After deploying to UAT, here HP side, HP company, the client side employees, they do the testing. Once they sign off, finally it will be deployed to production. So most of the companies, they follow this process. On day to day, when we work for most of the projects, we follow this. So dev, QA and UAT and all these things. So from where they create? From here. So already these sandboxes are created, dev, QA and training and UAT. So if you want, you can also click on new sandbox. We can also create one more. But here, while creating the sandboxes, so there are different types of sandboxes. Due to the time limitation, I will explain about these types tomorrow. Okay, so for now, just understand like this, we give some name. So let's say I can also say staging, and I can also decide from which, right? So all these are the different, this is the production and these are the sandboxes. From where you want to copy the content. The content can be the applications, the tables, the data, all those things. So by default, mostly we copy from the production. And all we need to do is based on the licenses available. Some of these licenses, if you see here, developer, we have some licenses, and the partial copy, there are some licenses. This full copy, so they need to purchase the licenses. So what exactly the difference? Going forward tomorrow, I'll explain. So if you choose this full copy, what will happen and all those things. Okay, so somehow like this, already these sandboxes are created. So once we create the sandbox, how we log in, that also we should know, right? So let's say you joined in one of the project on first day or in first 3 days, they provide access to the Salesforce account so that you need to start working. So to which account they provide access? Maybe since you are new employee, they are not going to provide access to production directly. So they'll give access to one of the sandbox. So mostly this developer sandbox, as the administrator or developer to work, they give access to this. We need to log in. To log into any sandbox, right? It can be dev or QA or any sandbox. The URL is test.salesforce.com. So this is the URL. So when you say test.salesforce.com, but how we know we are trying to log into dev or QA or UAT? They follow some naming conventions. Okay. So let's say the production username. So Naveen at the rate, I think for us, batch91.com. That's the username, right? For sandbox, for dev sandbox, they maintain like this, and some password, right? Whatever the password they like, they can give. In the same way, same user is having access to QA sandbox also, right? For QA, they give like this, the username. When you open this here, how we know to which account we are trying to log in? The production username dot the sandbox name. So mostly in most of the projects, they follow this naming convention. So that way, even though the same URL for all sandboxes, due to this, we know to which account we are trying to log in. So that is the naming conventions in the projects they follow. So once we get the job, once we join in one of the project, on the in first few days, they are going to provide access to one of these sandboxes. You'll get one email to set the password with one of this kind of email username, and once after setting the password, we log in and start working. So that's what we need to do. So we should aware of this. Even though you know Salesforce and everything, sometimes people are struggling here, right? So from day one, we should know. So first, how we can log into Sandbox and how we work. So this is the most important thing we need to know. On day to day, when you work for the projects, mostly we log into Sandbox and work, right? We should aware of this URL test.salesforce.com and username, some naming conventions, and login and work. And finally, only at the time of deployment, right? So if your role is you are also doing the deployment in the project, so they'll also provide access to the production. So that's what the process we follow. Just understand now in the process of developing these requirements, right? So in the first sprint, in the first release, so let's say 4 requirements, the 4 team members, so they have 3 administrators and developer. Maybe this guy also can do development. So all those users they'll start working for these requirements. When we try to work on the requirements, some of the requirements we can achieve with the point and click approach. So that means no need to write any code. Point and click means the configuration. You can configure and achieve the requirements. So when you achieve the requirements like this, so this part people say as administration or admin. So this is the admin part. But some of the requirements we cannot achieve with the configuration, right? So maybe configuration we cannot achieve. That time we need to do the development. Right? So development or customization, different terminology. So this part we call as development or customization, means the Salesforce development. Some requirements, so Salesforce they provide some out of the box tools. Out of the box means the standard tools. With those tools we can, with the point and click, we can achieve some of the requirements. If some of the requirements, if you are not able to achieve with the point and click tools provided by Salesforce, that time we also do the development. So that's why we have development part also. So which kind of requirements you can do with point and click? So some of the examples, let's say the validations. So they are creating one of the record, right? So that means they are inserting one of the row in a table. But while inserting, so they want to keep some validations. So let's say they are entering date of birth, but they are giving date of birth as future date. That should not be allowed. So they come up with some of the requirements. Those kind of requirements we can achieve with one of the configuration tool called validation tools. So let's say one of the requirement, after creating one of the record, automatically they want to send email. Those kind of requirements we can achieve with workflow rules. We have some options, process builder, right? So all these tools we use with point and click, we can achieve the client requirements. So let's say they want to load the data into Salesforce, but there are 10,000 records. They want to load the 10,000 rows in a table into Salesforce. So that time there is a tool called data loader, right? So we have some tools without writing any code. We configure and achieve some of the requirements. So when you work for that part we call as administration. But some requirements we cannot achieve with that. We have to write the code. So that part we call as development. So as part of the development, what we do. So here in Salesforce, we work as a full stack developer. Full stack means, so when you deal with any application, right? So first we see the UI. Here, whatever we are seeing, this one we call as UI, right? So we have the user interface. And when you click somewhere here, let's say I'm clicking here, right? In background something will execute, and after executing we are seeing the next screen. In background whatever it is executing is a business logic. And so finally, after providing some information and click on save, so what will happen, this information will be saved into database, right? So we are going to work in all these layers as part of the development. So we need to write the business logic. For that, here we use one of the, so maybe here if I add, it will be more. For business logic, we use one of the programming language called Apex. So Apex is one of the programming language. And one of the basic question, already should I know about Java? No need to know, right? So as part of this course, from the basics, from what is a program, from that we start and discuss about this. So I'm not expecting anyone to know Java or some other programming language. As part of this course, we are going to discuss this language from the scratch. Okay, this is the one which we use, and don't try to learn Java. So if you are already, if you don't know Java, that is fine. We will discuss from the basics. If you know, it is a little bit advantage. If you don't know, we'll learn from scratch. Okay, so this part we work, and also the UI, right? User interface, developing the web pages and all those things. For this, we should aware of HTML. So little bit basics of HTML, HTML basics, CSS basics, and the JavaScript basics. Okay, so basic level, if you want to understand these basics, let's say you are completely new to IT and you don't have any, you did not hear about this HTML or CSS and JavaScript. So what I recommend, so maybe 1 or 2 days if you spend time, that is fine. So there is a website. So in this website, so just spend some time to understand what is HTML, what is the full form of HTML, right? Hypertext markup language, how it will be used. So I recommend you to explore this website to understand the basics, HTML, what is CSS. It won't take much time. Maybe 1 day if you spend, you can understand basics of HTML. Maybe 1 day you can understand CSS and JavaScript, all these basics. Okay, so those you'll maybe refer. I'll also try to explain from the scratch. You refer here, and after that, if you listen, I think you can understand easily. So these things, it's not that only we use these things. These are generic, not only Salesforce, on any platform if you want to develop the web page. So these are the things we use. But specific to Salesforce, what we use here, we use Visualforce, one of the markup language. HTML is also used to develop the web page, but Salesforce, they have their own markup language to develop the web pages. That is Visualforce. When we develop the Visualforce pages, we also use HTML, we also use CSS and JavaScript. So that's why we should know some basics. I'll try to explain from basics. So if you have some interest, you can refer this website and understand some basics. Okay, so as part of this course, we discuss about this Visualforce. There are many topics under this Visualforce. All those topics end to end we'll discuss. And also we have to develop the UI. We have Lightning. So Lightning. So actually Lightning, as part of the Lightning, you see Aura and LWC. These are some frameworks to develop the UI. This Aura, Salesforce, they introduced it in 2015. This LWC, Salesforce, they introduced it in 2019. From long time, the Visualforce pages development was there. Okay, so this is the latest. But due to the duration of this course, so as part of this course, we discuss end-to-end topics of, right? All topics of this we'll discuss in detail. And as part of the Lightning, ARA and LWC, so I can say maybe the basics, right? We are going to understand about the basics, and on top of the basics, you can extend your knowledge, and these basics are sufficient to crack the interview and even basic level to work in the project. But if you want to be like an expert, so again, these topics as part of this admin plus development in detail, I am not covering. Okay, so really, if you want in detail for these two, there is a separate training, separate so batch. So not this one. Okay, just understand. And also, this Apex, again, there are many topics as part of the Apex. In depth, all those topics we'll discuss. Okay, so which also includes integration. So when you deal with the Apex, okay, so all different topics of Apex, and also integration. So why we need to integrate? So let's say this HP company, they are using Salesforce for CRM, right? So Salesforce, the short form, on day-to-day we call as SFDC. So when you join in a company, they say SFDC team, SFDC developer, like that, right? So Salesforce, they are using for the CRM. And let's say they are using SAP to manage the other business process, maybe ERP, right? Let's say they are using QuickBooks, one of the accounting software, right? So same client, they have applications on different platforms. They want to establish integration between these platforms. From Salesforce, they want to access the information, what are the payments and all those things. From this application, they want to read and see on Salesforce. They'll come up with such kind of requirements. To achieve those requirements, we use integration. We achieve integration using web services. We have SOAP API and the REST API integration. As part of this course, we also discuss about this integration. So we also discuss about this UI and these basics of this Lightning, ARA, and LWC, and also database side, right? We also work with the database commands, which are not complex. Okay, maybe with 2 hours discussion, we'll get to know so how we can write the commands and all those things. It's very easy. They simplified many things on this platform. So when compared to other languages, you see many things they simplify, and all we need to do focus on developing the application. So here we use SOQL, SOSL, and the DML. These database commands we use. SOQL means Salesforce Object Query Language, Salesforce Object Search Language, Data Manipulation Language. So these commands also we should know. Okay, so it needs only 2 hours to understand the syntax. Okay, that much easy. So as a Salesforce developer, if we say you know development, we should know about these commands. We should know about this Apex business logic. So we should also know about the UI. So they expect everything from a developer. Okay, now, so once we get the job, if the employees, if they are working only for the administration, point and click, let's say they don't have skills for the development, they have only skills to configure and achieve the requirements. When the requirement comes, if the requirement limitation, if the requirement can be achievable with the configuration, those requirements they'll assign to these administrators. And developers, some people they say they want to directly start with the development. So when you say you are a developer, one of the prerequisites is developers should know administration also. Without administration, directly learning development, so the employee cannot fit into working for that. So when you say developer, developers should know both at least basics of administration and So development both. So without administration, directly development, so it's not possible. At least you should know the basics of the administration. But administrator, yeah, without development, they can exist, they can work. But opportunities in the market in India, if you know both, then you have more scope to get the job. It's easy to get the job if you know both. In India, if you want to only go with the administration, the number of opportunities in the market you see very less. Okay, so maybe once in a month or very rare opportunities you will see. But in other countries, maybe US and UK, some countries, they can find jobs on administration also. But any country, the thing is, if you know development, the package and the scope of getting the better job is more when you know both. Okay, so when you work for a project, who work on this configuration, those are the administrators. Who work on this development, those are the developers. So mostly developers are both admins and developers, both. They work on both. And administration, there are different roles. Okay, so one of the job is the production support. Let's say one of the application is developed and fully deployed to production. Once the application is deployed to production, on day to day to manage the day-to-day activities. Let's say one of the employee joined newly. They need to create a user. One of the employee is resigning the company. They need to deactivate that user. So let's say what are the permissions needs to be configured for the newly joined employee. Let's say they get data on weekly basis and they need to load the data into Salesforce. So those kind of day-to-day production support activities, if someone do, so those employees we call as administrators, system administrators, like that. But in the development phase also, if the employees, if they are working only for administration part, only administration specific requirements, those employees also we call as administrators. Okay, so that's the scope. And the testers, let's say someone want to do testing for the Salesforce application. So for testing, or as end user, or anyone who want to start with Salesforce platform, this administration will work. If they know this administration, you can be like an end user, you can work as an administrator. You can also do the testing, and also consultant role, right? Consultant means they talk to client, they gather the requirements at high level. They know the functionality. They should know the functionality. Really, they no need to develop. They need to know what we can achieve with Salesforce and all those features. Along with administration, there are some other additional skills. Maybe I'll going forward refer what you need to, which are the other trainings you need to take, so they can become as consultant. Okay, so consultant for sales, you'll see sales cloud consultant, service cloud consultant, like that. Those kind of employees also should know administration for first. So this is the scope. As part of this course, we are going to understand about the administration and development. And for full syllabus, you can see the course contents. Yeah, any questions?
I
Srinivas, what
consultants.
is hello, Srinivas. Yeah, what is the difference between Sales Cloud, Service Cloud, and the Marketing Cloud?
Yeah. So Sales Cloud means if you see these applications, right, as part of the CRM, we have 3 applications: marketing and sales and service. Someone who is having more expertise on sales, mainly as part of the sales, you see opportunities, right? Opportunity is a deal. For opportunity, they can add the products. So product can be one-time purchase, our product can be maybe subscription based products, right? So let's say if you take antivirus license, right? Every 1 year or every 3 years, you need to extend your subscription, right? So there are different kind of in detail requirements will be. So maybe so far whatever I explained, those are at high level. Just we discussed about opportunities and it is a deal. But when you create an opportunity, how we add the products, how much discount we give, how we can um, make it as a subscription, or when you enable multi-currency, right? So opportunity deals with the amount currency, right? How much they get due to that deal. So if they enable multi-currency, how that will work, how to change the corporate currency to one of the currency. So like that, there are in detail topics. Okay, so that people say as sales cloud. Okay, service cloud means at high level we know that case, right? For any support activity, we create a case. When they create that case, what should happen? It should be assigned to whom? Is the case should be assigned to one of the person automatically, or they want to assign the case to some group of users so that one of the team member in that group they can work? Or let's say if they send email, right? So they'll send email automatically. From email they want to convert into case. So how we can do that? So those kind of things, right? In detail features are there. So when you work on those features, so that part we call as service cloud. So like that. Okay. In the same way, I mean, going forward, we discuss about communities. Communities means, so now we are talking about the end users of this application. We are saying the employees of the HP company, right? Because for HP company, we are developing this application. So let's say HP company, they have some partners, some partner companies like distributors and retailers. Those are some partner companies. HP company, they want to provide some limited access of their CRM to partners and customers. To provide the additional access for the partners and customers, there is a feature called community. So that we call as community cloud. So like that. So based on which area we work, they say that cloud. It's like that. Okay. Any other
Yeah,
question?
Srinivas. Yeah, do we have to take any special course to get the knowledge of sales, service, and marketing cloud, or will the
Uh,
basics be covered in this course?
yeah. What I can say for all those things, this course is. I mean, this is the one we need to start. The administration course is the one which is based for all those things. Okay. So first, I recommend you to complete this administration course. And once you complete this, there is a platform, right? So Trailhead, there is a, it's like a game, and also we learn some of the new topics of the Salesforce. It's like a Salesforce learning platform, free, which is free, no need to pay. And also many people they try to learn from Trailhead. Finally, they join the course. But along with the course, if you take the trainings of this, whatever they offer in this website, you will see the result. Only if you see this, if you try to follow, people fail to, crack the interviews and you don't see the organized way. Here I'll refer. So if you want in-depth understanding on the sales cloud, okay. So I'll recommend some of the modules here along with the administration course. If you can take the training for those modules, then so you are suitable to work on Sales Cloud. And also there are many certifications, right? So there are many certifications. Maybe quickly to show you, we have Sales Cloud, one of the certification. We have Service Cloud, one of the certification, based on the specialization. So let's say mostly our company is dealing with sales. So you can target on completing Sales Cloud certification. So there is a syllabus for that, right? We have to follow that syllabus. For that syllabus, what are the trainings we need to complete? So all those trainings you can find in this website. So tomorrow when we start, I will explain how we access this training website and how we can create our own profile to showcase our skills going forward. So all those things tomorrow when we start with the regular sessions, I'll explain how we do. So just I'm trying to show that Sales Cloud. So this is one of the certification. So but directly giving this certification is not possible. One of the prerequisites is without Salesforce administration certification, you cannot give this exam. Okay, so administration is the base. On top of that, so you need to learn this one. Okay? If you want to go as a consultant, but as a developer administrator, really not needed at this point of time. Maybe going forward, so when you work for the project based on your company policy, you can give the certification and get the certifications. It's like that. Okay. So any other questions?
Hi Srini, I just want to know which language will be using the most, Aura or LWC, or which one will be using the most in the
So let's
job?
say, yeah. So let's say if there is a new client, they are newly starting with Salesforce platform, right? So obviously, when they start with Salesforce platform, for those clients, so they want to go with the latest technology. So that time, so we need to use the combination of Visualforce and LWC. Right? So
Okay.
LWC they prefer, but you know, right? Salesforce is there from year 2000, right? From past 20 years, there are many hundreds of thousands of customers. So over the night, so they cannot migrate everything into LWC, right?
Yeah.
Even it takes 10 years, I can say 10 years to adapt completely for LWC.
Okay.
So when you join in some kind of existing clients projects, we need to work with Visualforce, we need to work with Aura, we also need to maybe work with the LWC. With
Okay.
all these combinations we develop. It's like
Okay.
that.
Okay, Srini.
Srini, quick question. Will
Yeah.
the admin be responsible for handling the server application and the database server in Salesforce?
All those are inbuilt, right? All those are inbuilt. I mean, so what kind of maintenance you are talking? So because when you register, all those things by default Salesforce provide the server maintenance, right? All those things will be taken care by Salesforce. From our side, no need to do anything.
Oh, okay. For example, Shrinu, if in case there is some outage in Asia server, so the rerouting of the user request will be automatically handled by the Salesforce team. Am I right?
Yes, correct. So they have to
Okay.
take care. If there is some problem like that, they have to take the responsibility.
Okay,
Yes,
we
so
need to be reaching out to the support team.
Salesforce support. Yes. We
Okay, and
can
the
get,
same is the case for the database server as well.
yeah, same thing. Right, database is inbuilt within that server. They install and through that only we access. Everything should be taken care by Salesforce. Okay, so our
Okay.
side, maybe what we might need to do.
Uh,
Let's say you have this sandbox, right? Somehow the sandbox you want to refresh. Somehow you want to format it and again get it from the production. Those kind of things we deal. Okay, but at server level, Salesforce will take it. Yeah. Any other questions?
Yeah, hi, Srini.
Yeah.
What exactly Visual Force do? May I know like the definition about the Visual Force? Visual Force?
Yeah, so Visual Force is a markup language to develop the web page. In general, if you take any browser, right? So browsers can understand only HTML. Chrome or Firefox or IE, any browser by default can understand only HTML. But Salesforce, they are providing a framework to develop the UI with Visual Force. The reason why they are providing easily without writing more logic, they are providing many standard components to achieve the standard look and feel. Mainly the Visual Force when we use in the classic experience. So let's say in the classic, when you open one of the application, so whatever the screens we see here, all those are the standard screens from Salesforce. Let's say when I click on this, I'm seeing this page. This is a Salesforce standard page. With this look and feel, if you want to develop, as part of the Visual Force, they provide some of the inbuilt components. Let's say this part we call as page block, and again some sections. All those things we can easily develop. For that purpose, they are providing. So this will work only on Salesforce platform. In other platforms, you don't see this. Okay? To reduce
Okay, understand.
our amount of logic, whatever we need to write for HTML, they are introduced this one. Okay.
Yeah, understand. Thank you.
Yeah. So any other questions?
Srini,
Yeah.
Srini, as you suggested, I just tried it once. I got an email saying that there is an issue with your Salesforce account. The email address you entered is already in use.
But I think the username, are you using, what is the username you are giving?
Adarsh@wibmo.com, like that.
The username should be different. Maybe
Yeah, I
previously.
tried twice with a different one also, with a different email ID also. I do have two email IDs. So I tried with both the one, but I'm getting the same error message for both my email IDs. Same response.
Yeah, so the thing is, with one email address, you can create hundreds of accounts. It's not a problem. The main thing is,
Okay.
here whatever username you are giving, it should not be there anywhere. You are not only in one client organization. So there can be thousands of companies having Salesforce organizations. Out of that, it should be unique for everyone. Are you giving this unique username?
Yeah, I tried with the unique one only.
Okay, what it is saying?
It's saying the same thing, that the entered email address is already in use. Tried with a different one.
But email address can be anything. I have 100 accounts with the same email. Do you want to share your screen? Do you want to share your screen? Okay. So the rule is, so if you see with this email address, I have more than 100 accounts. Okay. So we can use the same email address, but the main thing is to make sure to give this username. It should not be there anywhere. Should be something unique. Then only it will accept. And also when you sign up, make sure to give the proper email address. Without providing the proper email address,
Shrenu,
you won't get the email. So that's what I can suggest. And beyond this, if you want help, I think instead of disturbing everyone, if you see going forward, you bookmark this website.
hello,
Hello? Yeah.
hello. Yeah, Shrenu, this is Kaushik here. Could you briefly tell me like what is the main differences between the Apex and Lightning, as you told us, like both are under development, right? So there will be at least basic differences, right?
Difference between Apex and Lightning, right? Okay,
Yes,
so
sir.
I'll explain. Before I explain, I think someone asked a question, right? So for help, right, I have a WhatsApp group. If you are interested, you can join this group for small issues like this, whatever one of the person asked. So people will help in this group. Yeah, I recommend you to join in this group and take that help. So coming to your question, the difference between the Apex and the Lightning, right? So when you deal with any application, right? Mainly we deal with whatever we see here. Let's say this page here. Whatever you are seeing is the UI, the user interface, the web page, right? So here we give. So let's say I'm giving something like this. So we enter something or we do something and click on this. So when we click on this button, right, in background it executes some logic, right? So which we don't see. Internally, it will call one of the program and it execute the lines which are written behind this button, those lines, and based on that, through that business logic, through that Apex. So this one, whatever you are seeing is Lightning. That is the UI. So Lightning or Visual Force. Actually, this page is a combination of Visual Force and Aura, right? So this is UI. So when you click on this button, in background, it executes the program which is developed with the Apex. This logic it will execute. And while executing this logic, it will also interact with the database. It will try to read, it will try to query the data matching to this email, and it will verify. If it is there, it will do something. If it is not there, it will throw error, something like that, right? So I clicked on login. So it was seeing something, right, undefined. I think we did not enter properly. Some error is coming. So when you give something valid one, it will work in a different way. So the thing is, what we see, that is the UI, that is the user interface, all these things. In background, what it execute on click on a button or on doing some actions on the UI, that is the business logic, that is the Apex. And internally, while executing the Apex, it will interact with the database to read the data or to save the data into database. So that's the
So, is it almost like HTML, which we use like radio buttons and all when we insert it the code and execute the things? So it's almost like HTML and CSS, right?
yeah. So here, while developing Visual Force and Lightning, we use HTML, we use CSS, we use JavaScript, right? For web page development, whatever you can do, same thing while working with this, we can also do. Okay, but there is a difference. You know about AngularJS and some other frameworks, right? So HTML is the base, JavaScript is the base. On top of that, AngularJS, Node.js, there are many things. So like that, here for Salesforce, these are the things to develop the UI.
Okay, the lightning, I mean, lightning is a part of Apex, right? Then, according to you, say.
Lightning is UI, not Apex. Lightning
I'm just
actually is
confused
a
in this now.
sorry.
I'm just confused now, right? I mean, the main difference between Apex and this,
Lightning is the user interface, the web page, the
like
legend.
it's a working environment is Lightning, and the background actions that are done by Apex.
Yes.
Okay.
So here for UI, the Lightning will come, right? The background actions logic is Apex, right? Database, we use this SOQL and SYSL and DML, all those things. Okay.
Oh, fine. Thank you, Srinu. But
Yeah. Yeah. Any other
Okay,
question?
Sunil. Vijay here. So
Yeah.
during this course, are you providing any project to us?
During this course, right, I take the requirements and analyze and explain why we need to use a specific feature. So beyond that, I give day-to-day assignments. So what you need to do, and beyond that, some trailhead trainings, all those things I'll refer. After this training, for every one of you, I'll connect one-to-one and prepare your resume. In your resume, I will keep one of the project, maybe different projects for each person, and I'll explain about that project, right? So what is that project, and so what exactly we worked on the project. I'll explain about that project. When I explained about that project, if you want to do that practically, you can do that practically. So that's the procedure. Beyond that,
So is there any? Yeah, please tell me.
beyond that, if you want to work for a project, so I provide internship. So I have, if you see, I told I have my own production organization and sandboxes. So I have my own application developed to manage my training, right? This whatever the training I'm giving, I conduct the training, I conduct the corporate training and different trainings. I deal with many candidates. I want to know who paid and who did not pay, and all the information related to training I capture in one of the application. I have many requirements. If someone is really interested to work, I'll provide opportunity to work on this project. So here we have many integrations, SMS integration, payment gateway integration, all those things at present we are working. So I can involve in that. Beyond that, if you want, there are many consulting projects going on. So I can give requirements and ask you to work on that.
Yeah, okay, thank you. And one more thing, are you providing material for us, or else only these notes what you are preparing in front of us now?
So I am going to provide. So first thing, I'm going to provide all the day-to-day recordings, right? All the day-to-day recordings, and I'm going to provide access to this through this org, whatever the URL just now we have opened. So through this org, so when you open this URL, I am recommending to take this admin beginner training, and so here you can go to this. This is a Google Drive app. There is a PDF to work on one of the project, the recruitment app. So from here you can work, and there are interview questions in my website. You can go through those interview questions. So beyond that, I'm going to provide access to this organization. So the account, whatever I registered for our class purpose, you can log into that organization, and in that organization on day-to-day, as a notes, whatever I am typing here, so that notes you can see. So this is the base for everything. Once you have access to this, you can access all the latest notes. On day-to-day, whatever I configure, whatever formulas I configure, all those things you can log into that account and access. So all those things, as soon as you have access to that, you will be having access to everything. And based on the need, right? So maybe if you want to see in that org itself, I'll provide access to, let's say I'm logging into this account. I'll provide access to some screenshots. Maybe initially when I configure, people are struggling to understand the navigations, where to click, where to navigate, and all those things. So you can find, so let's say if you see, right, admin lightning screenshots. I'll do once we start tomorrow with the regular sessions, I'll give access to this on day-to-day admin notes. You can search for admin notes and access admin notes. Latest notes you can find there. So let's say for the first week or first 2 weeks classes to understand the navigations. So there is a material. If you click on this in this PDF, step-by-step screenshots. So where to click, so where to navigate. So all these things are there. You can follow that. And based on the need, through Google Drive, I'm going to share some documents to refer based on the topic. So all these soft copies I'm going to provide as part of this training. Okay, these are more than you don't get time to, right? So really exactly your time. So you have to manage on practicing all these sources, whatever I am providing. Okay. So beyond that, if you want, I have many more things you can ask and do that. So practically, so you won't be having bandwidth on beyond this, whatever I provide. Okay.
Will you
Sir,
also conduct mocks?
sir, one doubt, sir. Actually, you have this screenshot material for all topics for admin.
No, for first week. For first week. After first week, you will be knowing how to navigate and where to do, right? So
Okay,
no need
okay,
of having the screenshots, right? You will be
okay, okay.
having to click where we need to navigate and all those things.
So
Okay.
you have some kind of exercise, sir. How to some model exercise after the class.
I'll give day-to-day assignments.
Okay, okay.
Let's say when I explain about a topic called validation rules, I'll take some requirements and configure, and at the end I'll give one assignment. I'll give one requirement and ask you to configure a validation. So like
Okay,
that,
sir.
day-to-day we did.
Srinivas, will you conduct mock?
Hello, yeah. Sorry, any other
Srinu,
question?
Yeah, will you
so
conduct
by
mock
training,
interviews?
how many years of experience we can grab if I'm changing non-IT to no to Salesforce?
So you can keep up to 5 years experience. You can say 5 years you are working on Salesforce and apply for job. If you practice everything, whatever I teach. Okay.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
Yeah, any other questions?
Are you
conduct mock interviews? Srinivas? Hello.
Sorry?
Will you conduct mock interviews as well?
If needed, I will do that. So I recommend you to join in that help forum. So here you can join in the WhatsApp group. I'll ask some of my old students, some other people to connect and do the mock interview. If I have time, I'll connect, but I will connect one-to-one at the end of this course, after completion of this course, to prepare your resume. For each one of you, I'll connect one-to-one and prepare your resume and explain the project. For sure, I'll do that. But mock interviews and all, if you want, that time we can discuss. Beyond that, if you want, I'll ask some of my team members to connect with you and do that. Okay.
Hi there. Yeah, this is Kaushik again. And are you assisting any, assisting for any certification courses also to include in our resumes and all?
Yes, certification exam fee you need to pay to Salesforce. Okay, basic level there are two certifications: Salesforce administration. The exam fee is $200 plus GST, maybe the tax based on the country. So that you need to directly pay to Salesforce and register. Maybe for this, to clear this exam, along with the trailhead. So I told, right, there is a trailhead along with some of these trainings. You will see some terms in the market, some questions, the sample questions. If you follow those questions and the administration training, whatever we discuss, and if you do some of the trailhead modules, easily you can clear the exam. So I will help you to provide those questions. We will say dumps. Right? So I can help you to provide dumps for this administration and the platform developer one. There is one more certification for those things. Okay. So any other
Are these
questions?
both under development or administration only?
So Salesforce administration is for administrator purpose. Platform developer one is for developer. Okay, so technically, if you know both, it is good. Okay.
Yeah, can you let us know what is the fee structure for this training?
So that here I don't want to discuss, right? So you can ping me in WhatsApp. I think you have my WhatsApp number. So you can ping me and I'll tell you. Okay.
So I think today is the last day for this this class and all. 3 days are completed, as you told mentioned in the mail for
Yeah.
us.
Today,
So what?
as demo.
So what will be the
Tomorrow,
yeah?
yeah, I will send email to everyone about my how you can pay the fee and all those things. So once you pay the fee and confirm, maybe you can reply to my email or my WhatsApp number. So for this, just you can share that screenshot after the payment, so that I'll update in my database so that you will get the updated meeting. Okay.
May I know, do you have phone pay?
Yeah, I have phone pay, Google Pay. Just ping me in WhatsApp. Those kind of questions, just please ping me in WhatsApp. Okay. So here mainly we discuss technical questions, right? So these kind of questions you can ping me and ask, and I'll provide details. Okay. Uh, so okay, I think that's it. So if you want to continue, so I'll drop one email. Already I dropped email with all the details how we can pay the fee. I'm going to drop one more email. Please check that email, and so you can, once you pay the fee and share the receipt, you will get the updated meeting link. If you have any questions, you can ping me in WhatsApp so that I'll reply, and based on that you can do the payment. So that's it. Just check your email for the updated meeting link, and so that we'll continue tomorrow. Tomorrow again, I'm not going to repeat. Right? Tomorrow is like a continuation. Today, where we stopped, from there we continue and discuss the further syllabus. Okay. So thank you everyone. We'll meet tomorrow.